everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. If it is your first time joining me, welcome. And if you are returning, hungry for more, welcome back. My name is Nicole and I am a student staff with Recreation and Athletics, and I am also a nutrition and food student here at Ryerson. This event is Let's Cook Food Tip Tuesday, and it is a part of Get Ryerson Ready for incoming Ryerson students. Be sure to stick around because just like last time, I will be telling you the badge code word at a random point during the video. This is now the second event of this series, and I hope everyone is ready to cook alongside me with their ingredients. Now you may have noticed, based on the recipe list that we posted, that this burger is vegetarian. This is because we are going to be talking about the benefits of vegetarian diets this week. Vegetarianism refers to the practice of abstaining from the consumption of meat. There are a couple different types of vegetarians. One of the most common types is a LACTO-OVO vegetarian, wherein they do not eat meat, poultry, or fish, but they do eat milk products and eggs. Another type is pescatarians, or pesco-vegetarians. These vegetarians do not eat poultry or meat, but they do eat fish and seafood. People at any age or stage of their life can be a vegetarian, and studies have shown that a well-planned vegetarian eating plan can help protect against heart disease, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, and some cancers. But being a vegetarian does not guarantee good health, whatever that looks like for you. It's important to plan your food a little bit so as to ensure you get all the nutrients you need. As always, before making any major changes to your diet, make sure you consult your doctor, registered dietitian, or healthcare provider of your choice. There are 4 nutrients that you should pay close attention to if you are eating vegetarian. The first is zinc. Zinc helps with healing wounds and it boosts the immune system. Second, we have iron. Iron carries oxygen around the body. Unfortunately, our body does not absorb plant-based sources of iron as readily as it does iron from meat sources, so it is recommended that vegetarians consume about double the amount of iron as non-vegetarian. Third, we have omega-3 fats. Omega-3 fats promote heart health in adults. And finally, we have protein. Protein helps keep your red blood cells and muscles working effectively. Protein can be found in milk products, legumes such as beans, lentils, peas, soy, nuts and seeds, eggs and whole grains such as quinoa. The burger we are going to make are also a really great source of protein. If you form 5 patties with the recipe, each patty is going to have about 9 grams of protein. The bottom line here is that vegetarian diets provide you with all the nutrients you need for people of all ages, but planning is vital. For this recipe, we are also going to be using a food processor. For some of you who are watching this, it might be your first time using a food processor, which is why I want to take a couple of minutes now to talk about food processor safety. The first part of a food processor that you want to be really careful around is the blades. The appliance's blades move at high speeds and they are really sharp. You want to make sure that your hands and any kitchen utensils are kept away from the moving blades when processing food. You only want to insert your utensil into the food processor or remove any food when the machine is off and unplugged. When you're assembling the food processor, do not plug in your food processor until everything is in place. You want to make sure the bowl is securely locked before placing the blades on the motor shaft. And you never want to put any ingredients into the bowl until the blades are securely in place. You want to make sure the blades have stopped spinning before you remove the cover from the work bowl. And once you are done food processing, first remove the work bowl from the processor's base and then remove any blades. Now let's move on to our recipe. For our barbecue burgers, you will need 1 cup of cooked brown rice, 1 cup of raw walnuts, half a tablespoon of cooking oil, such as canola and a little bit more for cooking, half of a medium white onion, 1 tablespoon each of chili powder, cumin powder, paprika, and brown sugar, about half a teaspoon of sea salt and black pepper, 2 cans of black beans, 1/3 of a cup of breadcrumbs. The ones I'm using are Italian style, but if you just have plain breadcrumbs, that works just as fine. You will also need 4 tablespoons of barbecue sauce, 5 burger buns, and your favorite burger toppings. So the first thing we're going to do is heat our skillet over medium heat. Now we're not going to be adding any cooking oil to the pan. So once your pan is hot, you're going to add your walnuts. want to stir these frequently so they don't burn, and we're going to cook them over the medium heat for about 5 to 7 minutes. Once your walnuts smell pretty fragrant and they've been cooking for around 5 to 7 minutes, you can go ahead and turn your burner off and then place your toasted walnuts into the bowl and set aside. So we just want to cool them down before we put them in the food processor. In the meantime, we are going to be cooking our onions. So turn your burner back on to a medium-high heat, and this time we are going to add oil to the pan. Once our oil is hot as well, we can add our onions to this pan. We don't want to burn our onions, we just want to give them a nice color and get them to caramelize a little bit. So if you find your onions are cooking a little bit too unevenly, and they're burning rather than caramelizing, just bring your heat down to a nice low heat. If you're cooking your onions like I am and your eyes are burning, maybe you're tearing up a little bit, but I found sticking your head in the freezer really helps. So if your eyes are burning, give it a shot. It will cool it off. Okay. Now once your onions look good and caramelized, you can go ahead and just turn your pan or your stovetop off and move your onion into a bowl to set aside. So now that you have moved your onion aside, we're going to move on to pulsing the toasted walnuts to a meal. So grab the base of your food processor, and then we're going to add the bowl to it. Not your blades, just your bowl. We want to put the bowl on and make sure it's in the locked position. So for mine, I hear a click when it's locked. That's how I know it's locked. And then you can add your blade at this point. And while you're doing this, you want to make sure that your food processor is in the off position and also that it is not plugged in. Once your blade and your bowl is securely fastened to the base of your food processor, go ahead and add your toasted walnuts in. And we are also going to add our 1 tablespoon each of cumin, paprika, chili powder, and brown sugar. And at this point, you can also add salt and pepper to taste. Now once all of your ingredients have been added to the bowl, go ahead and pop your lid on. So kind of same thing. You want to make sure you hear that click to let you know that it is locked in. So not that, but this one. You also want to make sure that if your food processor has a food pusher hole like mine does, that the top for it is in so that no food is going to fly out. Okay, and once it's all in and your food processor is still in the off position, you can go ahead and plug it in. All right, now once everything is securely placed, nothing's gonna fly out on you, and your food processor is plugged in, go ahead and put it to the first speed setting. It shouldn't take long, it should take anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds. You're just doing it to a fine meal, and once you're happy with what it looks like, go ahead and unplug the food processor first. Then you can take the lid off. We are now going to add in our black beans. So this is 1.5 cups of black beans that you're going to add. And this is just going to help get a little bit of a finer texture. How long you want to put your black beans in the food processor is really up to you. It's just going to depend on if you want a little bit of a smoother paste or if you're going to want something a little bit more chunky and have a little bit more of those black bean pieces in it. So again, you're just going to add the food processor lid, click it in place, make sure that your food pusher lid is still on there, and then you can go ahead and plug it in. Now I'm probably going to food process this for 10-15 seconds and then see how it turns out. but feel free to go for as short or as long as you want. Just really depends on what you prefer. Now once you're happy with the result of your paste, go ahead and unplug your food processor, and then we can take the lid off of it. Now at this point, I know it might be tempting to want to just take whatever you did out, but it's really important that you actually unclip the bowl from the base, get it out of that locked position, take it off. You can move your base a little bit here to give yourself more space. And then you're going to take the blade out of the bowl before you touch any of the food. All right, once your blade is out of the way, go ahead and put your black bean and walnut mixture into a big mixing bowl. Now that you have your black bean mixture in your large mixing bowl, we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. So you can go ahead and add 1 cup of your cooked brown rice and 1/3 cup of your breadcrumbs. You can add in the caramelized onion that we did prior. Okay, now we're going to add in the last ingredient, which is our barbecue sauce. Anywhere from 3 to 4 tablespoons is what you want to aim for when you add that in. All right, and once that's done, we can just mix to get this dough formed. You can mix with a spoon, a spatula maybe, but if it's easier, you can also use your hands. Just make sure to wash them before touching your food. If you mixed your burger mix and you find it's a little bit too dry, go ahead and add a little bit more barbecue sauce. But if you find it's too wet, go ahead and add a little bit more breadcrumbs. If you haven't already, go ahead and wash your hands. Now we are going to be forming the balls or the patties with the mixture. So you're going to be wanting to form about 5 patties, but if you feel like it's a little bit too much or the patties are too big, you can always divide the recipe in half and you can make 10 smaller patties. They do come out kind of big, so it just depends on your personal preference. I find just going and grabbing a ball the size of my hand and then shaping it to my hand is what works best. So I'm just gonna grab a ball, shape it into a little ball, and then flatten it out a little bit so that it really covers the size of my palm. And then I just like to fluff out the edges so that they're not so flat. Round. There you go. Burger. So set that aside on a plate you might have lying around, hopefully nearby, and move on to the next. So we're going to make the next 4 ones now. So you can see here that I formed 5 veggie patties, which also happens to be our code word for this session, veggie, V-E-G-G-I-E. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and cook it on our stove top. So for this, we can use the same pan that we used to toast up the walnuts and fry up the onions. You don't have to clean it out, don't worry about that. So we'll go ahead and just turn on our stove top to a medium heat. And then once it is warm, we'll add our veggie patties. So once our pan is getting hot, we'll add a little bit of oil just to make sure that it's well coated. Be mindful that the oil in the pan from the onions will still be in here, so you don't have to add as much as you normally do. Now once your pan is hot and oiled up, ready to go, you can add your patties. I would recommend not adding all 5, especially because these are pretty big and you don't necessarily want to be crowding the pan. I recommend doing 2 or 3 at a time. I'm going to do 3. I think I have enough room for 3. You're going to cook the patties for about 8 minutes total, 3 to 4 minutes on each side. Alright, once you have cooked your burger on each side, flip them halfway through and you're happy with how golden or maybe crisp they are, maybe even a little burnt if you like them a little burnt. Go ahead and put your burger patty onto your burger bun with all of your favorite toppings. For mine, I added some aged cheddar, raw onion, some lettuce, tomato, ketchup, and some hot sauce. Our barbecue burger is now complete. You can enjoy, hopefully in the sunshine if it's a really nice day. Enjoy some family friends. We got 5 patties for this recipe, so you can really share with a couple other people. And honestly, this is one of my favorite burger recipes. It's really, really yummy, and it's always a hit with everyone. I bring it to any type of gathering. Everyone always loves it. So I hope you enjoy, and thank you so much for tuning in to this second episode of our series for Get Ryerson Ready, Let's Cook Food Tip Tuesday. Join us August 11th, and we'll be making some fresh summer rolls. I'll see you then.